this United story and the DEI story hits so hard because we've all been in the back of a plane when the turbulence hits or when you're flying through a storm and you're like, I'm so glad I saw the guy with the right stuff and the square jaw get into the cockpit before we took off. And I feel better now thinking about that. No, I mean, like,
you want to go thought crime? Like, I'm sorry, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
Well, that's the you wouldn't have done that. You wouldn't have. You wouldn't have done that before.
That's not an immediate.
No, you wouldn't have done that before.
That's not who I am. That's not what I believe.
It is the reality the left has created.
So you guys piggybacked off of me because you knew what I was saying. Because what I was saying is that DEI creates and fosters sinful, unwholesome thought patterns. Because when they say we're going to hire people based on race and not competency, and so you start to just say, you know, what's going on here? Blake, you're part of this. This has gone so viral.
It's like I said.
22 million people have seen it on Twitter
It's what
alone.
I said at the end. This is the reality the left has created, that they crave.
Tell you exactly what I said,
Sure,
okay?
thank you.
So this was in response, first and foremost, to United Airlines saying that half of all their new pilots that they're going to hire are going to be women or people of color. Currently, they're 15%.
Okay.
So they want to go from 15% to 50%. A conversation then ensued about how every time affirmative action is employed, standards have to be lowered. There's not a single instance where that does not occur. So then I said, boy, if I see a black pilot, I'm now going to wonder, is that individual qualified? Or were they selected because of their race? Comma, but that's not who I am, but this makes me think this way. And I stand completely by that statement.
Okay.
Secondly, let me just finish.
Sure, yeah, sorry.
DEI and affirmative action, what it does is it lowers the merit, it lowers the threshold of standards, and increases things that do not matter, such as skin color and ethnic background.
Need to be very clear that you're not going to get gun deaths to zero. It will not happen. Right. You can significantly reduce them through having more fathers in the home, by having more armed guards in front of schools. We should have an honest and clear reductionist view of gun violence, but we should not have a utopian one. You will never live in a society when you have an armed citizenry and you won't have a single gun death. That is nonsense. It's drivel. Wow. But I think it's worth it. I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights. That is a prudent deal. It is rational.
Trying to attack me, which is ridiculous, like asking me what my salary is. Sure, I'll reveal it willingly.
You brought it up in context. I'm asking, why don't you live like a socialist?
Okay.
Go live like a socialist.
The point is larger. The point is larger than that, Charlie.
I live like a capitalist every single day, Cenk. I live as a
capitalist,
okay? I live when I believe. No. What do? I get charity every single year.
Hold on.
What's my salary? Less than it.
Charlie, take a seat.
Cenk, let's go.
Charlie,
what are you doing?
Take a seat. Take a seat.
Psycho?
All right, no. Take a seat. You're going to take a seat. You're going to take a seat over here.
Oh, my God.
What's my salary?
All right.
Oh, ridiculous. All right, behave, everyone. Jesus Christ.
Okay.
I practice what I preach, Cenk.
Charlie.
You do not practice what you preach.
Charlie.
She gives these speeches and it just has this aura of totalitarianism. My team says she's Indian and Caribbean. I'll tell you what, she would be a lot easier to beat than Joe Biden. A lot. I mean, Joe Biden is a bumbling, dementia-filled, Alzheimer's, corrupt tyrant who should honestly be put in prison and or given the death penalty for his crimes against America. But Kamala Harris, my goodness, there's something that just kind of is tribal where people are like, I don't know if I want this crazy person running the country.
This is something that I hope will make Taylor Swift more conservative. Engage in reality more and get outside of the abstract clouds. Reject feminism. Submit to your husband, Taylor. You're not in charge. And most importantly, I can't wait to go to a Taylor Kelsey concert. I can't say it without laughing. You got to change your name. If not, you don't really mean it. Congratulations, Taylor.
Civil Rights Act, though, let's be clear, created a beast, and that beast has now turned into an anti-white weapon. This topic would have been even more forbidden 4 or 5 years ago, but it's now becoming in more and more mainstream circles. Is that because the problem is becoming worse, or but our side is more courageous to confront it? The present reality, not the ideal, the reality of the Civil Rights Act and how it's being used is making it harder for us to pursue excellence as a society. Here's a fact. Since the Civil Rights Act passed, I think that it's fair to say any sort of racist sentiments that are in America have gone, at least individually amongst white people, towards black people have gone away. What I'm trying to counter is the reason we talk about race so much is because we have a federal holiday to a guy that talked about race all the time. We celebrate the Civil Rights Act more than the American founding.
Reid and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson were affirmative action picks, we would have been called the racist. But now they're coming out and they're saying it for us. They're coming out and they're saying, I'm only here because of affirmative action.
But I rise today as a clear recipient of affirmative action, and particularly in higher education. I may have been admitted on affirmative action, both in terms of being a woman and a woman of color.
I hear because of action affirmative. She can't even say that. We know. It's very obvious to us that you were not smart enough to be able to get in on your own.
Literally just, you said, MLK Day's coming up, and, we were going to do a show that day, so he's just like, there's a lot of stuff people don't know about MLK. I'll have Blake go look something up, and then someone at Wired, I guess, saw it.
And they usually cover, like, Bitcoin and stuff.
Blake, that's the bad guy you have on your staff. And then they send us that irate email, and it's like, well, we can't back down now. Now we got to go.
Yeah,
and I really got to blow it up.
And I'm the way I'm wired is that the more opposition I get from, I kind of then want to lean in. And it was so, how dare you, or we're going to punish you, or we're going to hurt you. It was very almost quasi-threatening in the way that they were communicating.
Yeah, and it gets it exactly what you said at the top of the hour, that he is the most sacred figure of the 20th century. And that
are the good things in MLK's life.
Obviously, Jim Crow as it existed in the South still in the 50s and early 60s in terms of restrictions on voting, segregated buses, segregated public spaces, that was all bad, that was all evil, and it was good that MLK campaigned against it. MLK himself was a nonviolent person who always promoted nonviolence. He enraged a lot of people on his own side who wanted to be more like violent revolutionaries. With the "I Have a Dream" speech, that's good.
Which he didn't write, but he did say.
He delivered it. And he gives other speeches as well that are looking towards a colorblind world. He does in his Poor People's Campaign, which is his last big campaign before his assassination. Riots in, I believe, summer of '67. 43 people die in that. That's more than died in any of the riots, in actual rioting stuff, as opposed to just murders because it was mayhem and such. Dozens of people die there. Dozens of people die in Newark. You have thousands of buildings getting burned down all over the country. And his reaction to it is it's interesting. A few months before is when he delivers the line, "A riot is the language of the unheard," which we heard over and over again in 2020. When the Newark riots happen, it goes for like a week. It goes for about a week. And his advisor, the communist guy, who was with the Communist Party USA, he's telling King, "You've got to say something to condemn this." And King says he doesn't want to do it because he says, "I don't want to deliver a condemnation without also condemning the causes that lead to riots."
That sounds like BLM.